All right, this is what we've been waiting for all season long, the Memorial Cup. Now, I know you want to win a championship with your buddies, but look, there's more on the line than that. There's scouts in the stands. There's an opportunity here for us to up your draft stock. They know what they want to see. The fans know what they want to see. Now it's just up to you to give it to them.
So we've already won the gold medal at World Juniors, so now it's time for us to move on to the Memorial Cup. And with us having to improve our draft stock quite a bit, we have to put on a show in our very first game. So we're going with the swagger option to get 1 X Factor point. We're looking to pick up 3 points in our first game. Darnell's ready to dominate. And which team is he going to be dominating with? Well, it was a clear option. The Moose Jaw Warriors are the team Darnell's going to be joining, and he's going to help lead this team to a Memorial Cup victory. Now, between World Juniors and the Memorial Cup, there was a handful of weeks, and each week you get 6 energy points. However, I will mention right now, it seems like they cap out at 12 energy points, so you have to check in at least every 2 weeks to use your energy points. And if you're not using your energy points, then you're not going to gain any more. So make sure that you're using your energy points up each week. But what I used a majority of my energy points on was X Factor training and skill training. Now, through doing this, we have 4 trait points that we can use to upgrade our player, and we have 7 X Factor points. So what we're going to do is add a couple X Factors to Darnell Richmond, and the very first one we're going to be adding is going to be wheels. I think wheels is going to be incredibly important for us. If we can be flying by every player on the ice, we're going to be unstoppable. Now, we still have enough X Factor points to unlock one more, so I think we're going to go with Big Tipper. Darnell's a big guy. He's always battling in front of the net, so if he can tip a couple shots into the back of the net, I'm not going to complain about that. Now, when it comes to the trait points we're going to be doing, we're just going to be upgrading our shooting and puck skills. So precision shooter, powerful shot, that's what we're going to be upgrading for shooting, and then smooth mitts for puck skills, and then we're also going to upgrade precision passing. So with Darnell all upgraded and ready for his first Memorial Cup game, we're going to be taking on Rimouski. Darnell's going to be looking to set a statement, and as we know, he has to pick up 3 points in this one, and he's looking for 3 goals. Now, I will say I have one issue right off the rip here. Moose Jaw, I have to be on the first line. I don't know what you're doing, but Darnell is not a second line player. He is a first line player. Get that man on the ice right now. Now, with this being Richmond's first game in the Memorial Cup, he's got to make a statement here, and that's exactly what he's going to be doing in game number 1. He's going to be sprung for a breakaway, and we all know Darnell's going to be capitalizing, and that's what he's doing with shot number 1. And I guess that goal from Darnell is going to give Moose Jaw a little bit of momentum, because once he's on the bench, they're going to be able to pick up another goal, and they're looking pretty solid right now. Unfortunately, though, Darnell is going to get a little bit too risky. While the boys are on a 5-on-3, he's going to line up for a massive hit, and he's going to absolutely wreck somebody. However, it's going to leave his team in a bad position, and Rimouski's going to be picking up a big time goal. Now, after the first period, the Moose Jaw Warriors are still going to have the lead, even though they gave up a power play goal. The Warriors are up 2-1 right now, and Richmond's looking for a couple more points. He only has 1 on the game so far, and we all know he has to pick up 3. Now, one problem that Darnell Richmond has right now is he doesn't really trust his team too much. After playing for Team Canada, he feels like he always has to be in front of the net to intercept some passes, and because of that, Rimouski's going to be scoring a goal from the point. Now, after that goal, Darnell felt obligated to get back, and after a beautiful pass off the boards, Darnell's going to have a great opportunity, but he's going to be ringing this one right off the post. That's a heartbreaker. And to make things even worse, the second Darnell Richmond gets to the bench, Rimouski's going to be picking up a goal. Now, Darnell knows he has to carry the weight for Moose Jaw, so the second he gets on the ice, he's going to be sprung for a breakaway, but somehow this isn't going to be a penalty shot. I have no clue how this isn't going to be called a penalty shot, but you know what? It is what it is. Because on the ensuing man advantage, Darnell's going to grab a loose puck, and he's going to get himself a breakaway. And what do you think Darnell's doing when his team is down and he has a breakaway? Well, obviously he's going to be capitalizing, and he's going to tie this game up. Now, Richmond's big goal is definitely going to set the tone for the third period. We have a tie game entering the third. It's 3-3. He's got 2 goals so far. I think if Moose Jaw wants to win this game, we're going to need a Richmond hat trick. So Darnell clearly wants to win this game, and in order to win this game, he's going to have to do something special. So he's going to dance along the boards, weave between a couple defenders. He's going to have more than enough space, and he's going to bury this one to the back net. It's going to be his 3rd goal of the game. Richmond's got the hat trick, and he's slowly building his legacy. But Darnell wants to build up his legacy a little bit more. So the second he saw there was an empty net, he decided to take over. It didn't matter how many players he had to skate around, he was going to bury this empty netter. And with the game being 5-3, Rimouski's going to have to pull the goalie once again. So what does that mean for Darnell Richmond? Well, he's going to be picking up his 5th goal of the game in his first Memorial Cup game. 5 goals for Darnell Richmond. Bro's really him. Granted, 2 of them were empty netters, but we won't talk about it. We're also not going to talk about what happened after this goal. Yeah, there's like 5 seconds left in the game. A backhander towards the net. No, that one doesn't count. We're not counting that whatsoever. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. We're still winning this game because of Darnell's 5 goals. Now, Darnell 1000% reached his challenge here. He had to record 3 points. This man scored 5 goals on 10 shots. He was a light in the lamp in this game. In order for Moose Jaw to win this game, Darnell was going to have to carry the way, and that is exactly what he did. Now, I'm not 100% sure if I've mentioned this in the video. I'm pretty sure I have, but let me just go over it again. Health is by far the most important thing, because just look at the impacts of Darnell right now with him being exhausted. Minus 15% acceleration, durability, agility, endurance, speed, strength. Darnell is a shell of his former self. However, we have energy to spend here, and we're going to spend all of that energy on health, because this man can't be tired heading into these next couple games. We've used all of our energy getting his health up, and now Darnell's ready to roll. And Darnell better be ready to roll, because he has a tough matchup coming up. We got the Moncton Wildcats to worry about. Now, after scoring 5 goals in game number 1, Darnell had a lot of confidence heading into this game right here, but maybe he had a little bit too much confidence. Regardless of whether or not Darnell has a lot of confidence, one thing needs to be set, and that's the tone. So what's Darnell's going to do? Well, he's going to rock somebody in his very first shift, and we know what this game's going to be about now. And I think that big hit is going to be sparking some offense from Moose Jaw, because they're going to be picking up the first goal of the game. However, Darnell knows a 1-goal lead just isn't enough here, and with the Moncton Wildcats expecting a shot from him, he's going to do something that he rarely ever does. He's going to pass the puck, he's going to find a man wide open in front, and he's going to bury this one. Now, surprisingly, the Moose Jaw Warriors are actually going to do something that I didn't expect, but they're going to be scoring multiple goals with Richmond not on the ice. Maybe this team has more depth than I thought. Unfortunately, though, Darnell is going to be letting the team down just moments later. We're just going to ignore the defense I was playing here. I don't know what I was doing. That is solely on me. Now, after that goal, we're entering the intermission with a 2-goal lead. However, Darnell feels terrible about letting his goaltender down with that terrible defense, so he's going to get back early into the second period. Richmond's going to have so much space. He's going for a skate here, weaving around everyone, and he's going to bury his first of the game. However, 1 goal is not going to be enough for Darnell. At this point, he's just toying with the Moncton Tigers. A one-handed tuck for Moose Jaw's 5th goal of the game early in the second period. No, that's just disrespectful. And you know what? I guess the disrespect is going to be backfiring on the Moose Jaw Warriors, because this simulation took way too long and I knew something was going wrong. And what happened? Well, Moncton scored back-to-back goals. And it looks like after scoring back-to-back goals, the Moncton Wildcats are going to have all the momentum. Gabe Smith is going to be picking up a goal. He's making this a 1-goal game. What has happened to our great team in the Warriors? Now, I was thinking this game was going to be an absolute breeze, but apparently not. We have a 1-goal lead entering the third period. We got to lock in defensively here. I don't know what we're doing, but the defense has completely disappeared. Now, it had been a pretty quiet third period up until the halfway point, and once we reached that, the Moncton Tigers are going to be tying this game up. The boys have really collapsed, and when we thought things really couldn't get any worse, a wild deflection is going to allow Caleb Denoyer to bury this one into the back of the net, and unfortunately, that one's going to be the winner right there, as the Moncton Wildcats are going to be taking down the Moose Jaw Warriors. Now, I have nothing to say. Nothing to say whatsoever. I thought this was going to be an easy win for the Moose Jaw Warriors. They were absolutely dominating. I have no clue what happened. Our defense completely vanished. Richmond had a pretty solid game, but none of that matters because we're going to be losing to Moncton. That's definitely going to be hurting us when it comes to winning a Memorial Cup. So we have to lock in our next game. It's a must-win for us. So after that disappointing loss to Moncton, we're heading into a must-win game. The Moose Jaw Warriors taking on the London Knights. If we can win this game right here, I believe we're guaranteed to be into the final. So it's a must-win. Darnell, I'm going to need another 5-goal performance from you. Now, there's one big issue moving forward with the rest of our Memorial Cup games. We're not going to be gaining any more energy for the rest of the Memorial Cup. So what does that mean? Darnell Richmond has negative 15% in strength, endurance, speed, all of those stats. He's not going to be the same. But at the end of the day, that's not going to be stopping the GOAT in Darnell Richmond, because after ringing it off the post, he's going to find some space behind the net. He's going to collect the puck off a pass, and what's he going to do? Well, he's going to go bar down on London's goaltender, and he's going to be giving Moose Jaw the first goal of the game. But obviously, 1 goal isn't going to be enough, and the first question that has to be asked, why on earth is Darnell taking this face-off? It is going to be resulting in a goal, but why do we have Darnell taking the face-off here? That is just very stupid. But it turns out that 2 goals weren't enough for the Moose Jaw Warriors, because this team is rolling right now. I have no clue how we're dominating the London Knights like this, but we are. Our 3rd goal of the game. But what if I told you we weren't done quite yet? Because once again, they're going to have Darnell taking the face off on the power play. He's going to be winning it back this time, and after a couple shots towards the net, there's going to be a loose rebound that we're going to be burying, and Moose Jaw's taking a 4-goal lead early in the first period. And in the final seconds of the first period, Darnell Richmond wanted to make this a 5-goal game, and he beat the goaltender on the shot. However, he's not going to going to be beating the post. Now, if we're being completely honest, I think we all knew this wasn't going to be a shutout. The Moose Jaw Warriors were not going to shut out the London Knights, and Easton Cowan's finally going to be picking up a goal in the second period. And after that goal, the London Knights are building on a little bit of momentum. And I won't lie, Sam Dickinson baited Richmond a little bit here. He's slowing the ice, trying to block the shot, maybe even block a pass here. However, Richmond's going to be found in no man's land, and London's going to be picking up a big time goal. Now, after an incredible first period, things fell apart for the Moose Jaw Warriors moving into the second period. They allowed back-to-back goals. They now have a 4-2 lead entering the third. We need elite defense if they want to be advancing to the final. Now, as I just said there, we need elite defense heading into the third period. We can't be allowing any easy goals like this goal right here, which they're going to score like 30 seconds into the third period. Right off the opening draw, they're going to be scoring. That's a tough look. What's an even tougher look is Darnell poking the shot away, and in any other situation, this is a breakaway for Darnell Richmond. However, he has no energy, so he can't catch up to the loose puck. Now, I think the game knew that Darnell should have scored a goal there, so while he's big dog chilling on the bench, the Moose Jaw Warriors are going to be picking up a critical goal, and they now have a 2-goal lead entering the final couple minutes. And in the final 50 seconds of this one, we're just going to watch this goal together.
Fires it on net, and he gets in front of that. It's in the back of the net, they score!
Yeah, so I have no comment about that goal whatsoever. All that matters is we're going to be winning this game. I don't know how Richmond picked up that goal, but we're just going to ignore it. A win is a win is a win is a win, and Moose Jaw's going to be moving on to another game. Now, this game was a lot closer than it should have been. Like, we had a 4-0 lead at one point that eventually became a 1-goal lead, but we're going to close this game out 6-3. Darnell Richmond, of course, is leading the way. He's picking up the hat trick once again in this one. That last goal was so incredibly fluky, but we're still going to take it. Now, taking down London in that last game means absolutely nothing now, because now we're playing a do or die against the London Knights. If we win this game, we're off to the Memorial Cup final. If we lose, we're done, and Darnell Richmond's going to head to the draft. Now, Richmond was absolutely exhausted in his last game against the London Knights, so how does he feel moving into this one? He's absolutely exhausted again. This man has no energy. He hasn't replenished anything, but just because he's tired doesn't mean he's not going to find a way to impact the game. He's going to dish a perfect pass into the slot, and how's his teammate going to repay him? By shooting it 18 feet wide of the net. Bro, what are you doing? Now, it's been an incredibly quiet game. Like, we're over halfway through the first period, and there's only been 4 shots combined these two teams, but the 5th shot's going to come right here. Darnell Richmond's going to crash the net, but it doesn't really matter because the London Knights are going to be putting this one into their own net, and Moose Jaw's going to be taking a 1-0 lead. And when I was watching the simulation, I was getting a little bit concerned here. I thought we had allowed multiple goals, but that's actually not the case. The London Knights are going to be scoring, but Moose Jaw's going to be doubling down. They're picking up their second of the game, so we still have a 1-goal lead. Now, when it comes to goaltending from the Moose Jaw Warriors, I'm not expecting Hutch to be an absolute superstar, but he could make that save right there. That would help us. Granted, Darnell knows he has to get back for Hutch. Like, that's his main man. So what's he going to do seconds later? Well, he's going to bury one into the back of the net. And what's going to happen moments after Darnell scores that goal and sparks some offense for the Moose Jaw Warriors? The London Knights are going to get back, and they're going to tie this game up. Now, I've seen some stupid things so far in NHL 26, but this might be the stupidest. Darnell Richmond's going to go off for a change, and he's going to miss the gate. Yep, Darnell Richmond missed the gate. The London Knights are going to be scoring. I've never seen that before. Like, bro legitimately missed the gate to get off the ice. And that goal is going to end up being a big one for the London Knights. They're going to take a 1-goal lead entering the second intermission. We're going to have to score some pretty quick goals. Now, the best thing that could possibly happen is the London Knights take a stupid penalty and send us to the power play. So that's going to happen 16 seconds in. That's perfect timing. And on the ensuing power play, who do you think we're giving the puck to? Darnell Richmond. We know this man's going to go to work. He's going to tie this game up. This is Richmond's game to win. This is a legacy game. And with this being a legacy game, what should Darnell Richmond do? He should play defense, and he should probably play in position. London's defense is going to have a wide open shot at the net because Darnell Richmond just couldn't trust the players in front of the net. Like, I think we have to put the blame on Darnell Richmond here. He has to understand he's no longer playing with Team Canada. He's with the Moose Jaw Warriors, and that's a way better organization. Now, in moments like this, Darnell Richmond has to step up for the team. He has to score the big time goal, but instead, he's going to trust one of the young players on the team. Carson Dykert is going to get a breakaway, a chance to tie this game, and he's going to step up when it matters most. He's going to tie this game up, and we're off to overtime. Without this goal from Dykert, we're not going to have a chance at the Memorial Cup, and we would have been eliminated right now. Now, overtime was pretty quiet for Darnell Richmond. He didn't get too many opportunities. This was the best thing that happened when he was on the ice. The Warriors had one great chance, but London's goaltender's making a big save. And with Darnell Richmond on the bench, I can only assume the London Knights can be scoring. But you know what? The Moose Jaw Warriors can step up when it matters. They're going to be picking up the game winner. We're off to the Memorial Cup final. There was a lot of big time players stepping up in this game. Darnell was finally happy to have some support at his side. Now, that was a big time game for the Moose Jaw Warriors. I didn't think they were going to be able to win that one, but when the lights were the brightest, we were showing up big time, including our big rookie who's going to be scoring that goal. Richmond, 2 goals, 1 assist, 7 shots. He had a handful of hits in this game, but all that matters is we scored the final goal, and now we're off to the Memorial Cup final. So it all comes down to one final game. Darnell Richmond and the Moose Jaw Warriors taking on the Moncton Wildcats. We know what Moncton's about here. They were able to upset us in that second game we played, but you know what? We're not going to collapse this time. We're going to take down Moncton, and we're going to win the Memorial Cup. The one thing that is very annoying, and I will bring this up time and time again, I am exhausted right now. Darnell, minus 15% acceleration, agility, durability, endurance, speed, and strength, and I can't replenish any of this because I have no energy because you only gain it once a week. So basically, Darnell has played 3 straight games while being exhausted, but he's still showing up in the big time moments. Now, besides the gold medal game, this is going to be the biggest game of Darnell Richmond's career. It's a revenge game against the Moncton Wildcats. The Moose Jaw Warriors should have beat this team the first time they played each other. It's time for revenge. And how is Darnell going to get revenge? Well, he's going to set the tone early on. He's given one of his teammates a great opportunity. Unfortunately, he can't capitalize, but we're putting pressure on early. Now, we're entering the dying minutes of the first period, so it's about time Darnell gets on the board. Him and McKenzie are going to display some amazing passing. Richmond's going to get a little bit of space, and he's going to deke through some defenders. A nice backhander is going to beat the goaltender. Richmond's picking up the first goal of the period, and he's going to be giving his team the lead. Now, after that goal in the first period, it had been a defensive masterclass up until this goal right here, and we're watching this one together. Because what on earth did I just watch? I don't care what overall these players are. That should never end up in the back of the net. Now, realistically, we all know that goal shouldn't have happened. So when Moncton responds early in the third period, I can't even be mad about it. This should be a 1-goal game. However, this can't stay a 1-goal game for too long, because right after that goal was scored, Darnell's ready to go to work. He's going to see the 5-hole wide open, and that's where he's going to go. Richmond's going to be picking up the hat trick in the Memorial Cup final, but Richmond doesn't think that's enough, so he's going to score one more goal to solidify his legacy in this Memorial Cup run, and this 4th goal is going to be more than enough. The Moose Jaw Warriors are going to be Memorial Cup champions. Darnell carried this team to greatness. 16 goals scored during the Memorial Cup. He's breaking records left, right, and center.
And there's the final horn! And a tremendous accomplishment as they are Memorial Cup champions. This might be the biggest moment for most of these players here, Cheryl. Wow.
Yeah, young athletes that get it done might be the biggest game of their lives, and it's a deserved honor.
A dream ends at one end of the ice with a dejected group of teammates, and at the other end, the dream fulfilled here, Pounder.
Yeah, the dream fulfilled at one end, James. I know what that feels like, to be connected with your group. It's a bond that you carry forever when you win a big championship. But on the other side, it is so difficult. And listen, you can be very proud of the performance that you put in, but it doesn't get you any further ahead because you're not on the winning side of it. And everyone always says, hey, take away the experience. But guess what? You don't want to hear it at that point.
Two teams that give no quarter through the entire series, and then it comes to this. I love it.
I love it as well, James. I mean, whether you're on the winning side or the losing side, this is a must. You have to find respect for your opponent who battled over and over with you through this series.
Cheryl, all those early morning practices, the long skates, all worth it, right?
Oh, yeah, they're all worth it. And you know what? You're not thinking about it in this moment. All you're thinking about is collecting that trophy, hoisting it over your head alongside your teammates.
Here we go, it's swapping the trophy. Everybody getting their turn to celebrate.
Yeah, and this is the realization of the dream, James, because that's what it is. It's a dream before you get an opportunity to do it, but once you do, that feeling never goes away. Just awesome.
The celebration continues, and they're going to pile in for the group team photo here.
Well, and I just love this, James. It's just a relaxed look. It's emotional, of course, but what it spells to me is the fundamental respect to put the team goal first, and you can see it right there. They've all become champions.
Look at the smiles.
Now, Darnell Richmond has completed the impossible. After winning the World Juniors, he went on to win the Memorial Cup with the Moose Jaw Warriors, a team that certainly wasn't expected to win because this is certainly not the greatest team in the world. But with the addition of Darnell and his dominant performance, they're going to be taking down the Moncton Wildcats and their Memorial Cup champions.
Okay, everyone, we only have time for a few questions, so let's get started.
Congrats on winning the Memorial Cup. What does this moment mean to you in your career? Now that the tournament's over, your success has allowed your draft ranking to go up. Do you have your sights set on the NHL draft now?
And that's going to be it for today. Thank you, everyone.
Now, one thing I do find funny is that challenge to record 3 points was over the course of the entire Memorial Cup. At the very beginning, I thought that was just one game. Record 3 points in one game and call it a day. Nope, it was for the entire Memorial Cup. We recorded 18 points over the course of the Memorial Cup, and we only had to record 3. I'm not going to lie, that's a little wild. Darnell Richmond's won a World Junior gold medal. He's won the Memorial Cup. Now he has his sights set on the NHL draft and going first overall.